author whose new book, her third, is now out, part of the Carter series, Sierra Carter. Hi, Sierra.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I think you were here for your very first book.
I was.
And here you are in book 3.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's just out. So let's talk about, first of all, your inspiration for becoming an author, your son, Carter, who passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about how the Carter series began.
So during his life and the hospice care part of his life especially, I had a 4-year-old and 14-month-old at that time, and trying to find books that kind of touch on those difficult topics was really difficult. And a couple years ago, I woke up and figured, why not write those books myself? And so I took real things that my kids said and our experience and put them into stories that hopefully will help other families so that they actually have books for their kids.
That's awesome, because I know you provided a lot of help for families during Carter's lifetime, and this community was, I think, greatly impacted. Anyone that's been at Ellis Sharp Park, you've seen Carter's Corner, and that's in Carter's memory.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your last name is Carter, and we're talking about Carter, but when Carter was alive, your last name was not Carter. What happened?
So I remarried 2 years ago, and coincidentally, my last name changed to Carter.
Is it a coincidence or not? Well, let's think, first of all, if you've never met Carter or never got to know him, we've got some photos of Carter. And Carter had what a struggle. He had a lot of issues.
He did. He had mitochondrial disease, so it affected his muscles, and he had an intellectual disability. He was in a wheelchair. He was nonverbal.
And here he is with his sisters. How are his sisters doing?
They're doing very well. They still miss Carter every day, but we make him such a big part of our life. Even for the holidays and birthdays and all of that, we still do a lot, to remember him and keep his memory alive.
Well, the books certainly do that, don't they?
They do.
Is it therapy for you too in writing about?
It is. I always say this is probably the best therapy I have had so far, is just sharing about him and talking about him and making these books that my girls can keep forever.
So it's called the Carter series, so I'm betting 3 isn't the last one.
I'm hoping to do more. Still trying to figure out which direction I'm going with the next one, but yeah, I hope to have at least 5.
Now let's see, we've got the rainbow. The rainbow is significant, I think, in this book.
It is. So especially towards the end of Carter's life, we would sing and play Somewhere Over the Rainbow quite a bit, and we did play that at his funeral. So we always look for rainbows after the rain, because I strongly believe in that. Even when there's a storm, there's something beautiful to come out of life and some of those really difficult things like loss. And so I like to think it's him kind of giving us a wave and saying hello.
Has the rainbow shown up in your life since Carter's passing?
They have, yeah. So when I was getting ready to get married and my name was getting ready to change, I was picking out my wedding dress, and there was a big rainbow right outside of the wedding shop. And so I have a picture standing outside wearing the gown that I chose with that rainbow, almost like he was kind of saying like, hey, it's okay, Mom. Like, I felt like he was cheering me on.
It must have been hard to just knowing, thinking that you were making such a big change in your life, and he wasn't there.
For sure.
But he was.
He was, yep. We had a chair for him at our wedding, and we had little rainbows on the centerpieces, and we kind of incorporated a lot of little things. I actually walked down the aisle to Somewhere Over the Rainbow by the Piano Guys.
So the story, The Magic Tree House, this is a series, and it's about a little boy. Is that little boy Carter?
It is, yep. And they're the characters too, if you look closely, like they're actual. I sent actual pictures into my illustrator, and she did a beautiful job at, creating my girls and me and Carter.
So your daughters and Carter are the stars of the book.
They are.
In the Magic Tree House. Now it's talking about the big brother with big duties, protecting his family from afar, aka heaven.
Yes.
And there are two. Do they look I mean, they kind of got big eyes.
Yes, it's very whimsical, but it's very much my girls, and I incorporated a lot of things that my girls have said. So there's little subtle things throughout the book that are true to what they believe and what they say. My youngest child, for some reason, has always thought that Carter's on the moon. So she'll see a big moon and she'll wave and say, "Hi, Carter." So that it's in the book too. So it's very special.
How old are the girls now?
Lily is now 12 and Nola is 8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
my youngest one this year turned 8, so she is now older than Carter will ever be. So this was kind of a difficult year. He's been gone as long as he was with us too. This was our 7-year mark, and he passed at 7 years old.
And
So
that's a very important mark in a family. What do the girls think about the books?
they love them. And what a better critic to have my kids sit down and look through them, and I'll ask them their honest opinion. I'm like, "Do you think kids are going to love it?" And they're like, "Yes, of course."
I don't know. Are they biased? If they're in the
They
book,
could be.
am I in the book? No, I don't think so.
I'll have to think about that for the next book.
So the families that you've never met that have had or are going through what your family went through, that's who you wrote this book for.
Absolutely. Yep, especially for families who have other children who are trying to understand or trying to piece together what it means, to lose somebody close to them. So even if it's not necessarily a sibling, if they're losing a grandparent or they've lost a parent, I think it's important that they have something to have hope for, and so that's what this book is.
And has it become harder for you? Do you have to work? Is it an effort for you to keep the memories of what Carter was like when he was alive as time goes on?
It is, I do pretty good most of the time. A couple weeks ago, I had a rough day. There was just some little trigger, some little memory, and I cried all day long. So I still have those days. And thankfully, when he was alive, I had a YouTube channel, so I would upload all of his videos there. So my girls and I will sit down and we'll just look through them and listen to his laugh and hear his little voice and watch the videos, because he walked for a short period. So it's good to look back on some of that, but I have to do it on my good days because it's still really hard to see.
I can't imagine. It must be very, very hard to do that. But what a blessing that you have. That it exists. Those
Yes.
videos exist.
Yeah.
Now the first 2 books. So do people need to read book 1 and 2 to appreciate number 3?
They do not. So if, the first one is it's a true story of him going and meeting his older sister's classroom. So that's more of a book about inclusion and asking questions and things like that. And then the second one is my perspective as a mother with a child with medical issues. So, and they're all completely separate. So they're just like their own story, and you don't have to necessarily read them in order or anything like that.
And as you plan, so your life, it will change, and your feelings will change, and your response to Carter's loss will change. So you might not even know what you're going to write about next.
Yeah. So I have a couple of ideas. I actually have one that's completely done. I just haven't published it yet. And it's a little bit more distinct about heaven. So I'm trying to work up kind of the strength to publish that one. So that one's a little bit more difficult.
Now, families that have not had a loss, this book, they can benefit from too.
Yes, I definitely think so. It's kind of that perspective of him still cheering for us and being happy for us and protecting us and all of those kinds of things. And I think that's what we all like to imagine of our loved ones who have passed.
If someone wants a book, they're available right now on Amazon and everywhere else, right? How long has it been? Has the book been out long?
It's been out since October.
Oh, okay. How's it selling?
Decent. Yeah, decent. I hope to do some more book signings and things like that in the near future.
Do you have anything coming up?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, let us know, and then we'll let people know.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck with the book and the series.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Author of the Carter series and the latest, The Magic Treehouse, Sierra Carter. Next on our show, we're going to talk about